Okay, hello. So this comes my first live this year. I'm excited to be here with you and to speak about perhaps one of my most favorite subjects. So I have a lot to say about this art of feminine surrender. Actually, I just realized I forgot to name this live. But welcome to all of you joining in and to all of you watching the replay as well. So we will speak about surrender, and I received a lot of questions from you. I will address some of them and others just welcome to send in as I'm speaking, especially towards the end. I will be very happy to respond to any questions. But because I have so much to say about this, I made a little outline so to formulate my thoughts a little bit. And I want to go with you through about 6 points. And we will start with just understanding what is this surrender I'm talking about. I will be speaking specifically about women and feminine surrender, but it does apply to everybody. Really, in the biggest sense, surrender is the greatest way in which we can live our life. And there are different steps to it, different stages of that surrender. And there is something that can mimic as surrender, but it is not surrender, and I will also touch on that. But really, in the ultimate sense, surrender is the greatest way to live this life, and it's beyond gender, it's way beyond gender, but I'll be addressing specifically mostly the feminine surrender. So men are also very, very welcome here. You will definitely learn a lot about that. So let's go. Thank you for saying hi, actually. But let's go right in. What is surrender? Well, what it is not, actually, maybe easier to look at it this way. What it is not, and it is not disrespecting yourself and neglecting your boundaries. It is not losing yourself in another person. It is not becoming blindly submissive to wherever life takes you. It is not any of those disempowered behaviors that come from a sense of victimhood, actually, not really owning our life and not really moving into that surrender from a real choice of the heart. And it is not a defeat. Surrender is not a defeat, although to the mind the concept of surrender sounds like giving up or defeating. But it is not. And surrender, it is not weak. Surrender is incredibly powerful. Actually, when we truly surrender, we become invincible. It's the greatest way to live life. And I mentioned the heart, that surrender is really coming from the heart. It's the path of the heart. It's the path of love. That's what surrender really is. And to surrender means to open to love as love. It's also a way to be so attuned with the present moment, and through that being able to meet present moment and to meet it in exactly the right way. So it is not that just like, okay, I'm just allowing life to take me and I just follow the flow, how it is really fashionable, let's say, in so-called conscious communities, to just kind of go with the flow and kind of surrender to the flow. Well, much of it is actually lack of presence and lack of integrity oftentimes. Surrender is a completely different thing. It's something so big. It's where you really enter into that communion with love, and you get moved by love, as love. So this is a great way to live life. Surrender, of course, as you hear me speak, of course, it's not something that is specifically about relationships or about sexuality. It is an attitude to life, live life in that way. But intimate relationships is an amazing avenue for practice of surrender. Because we can go very deep through intimate relationships, and it is a spiritual path, an intimate relationship, really in its essence, and it's really a mistake to waste it for anything less than that. And sexuality is also a powerful place to explore surrender, to understand surrender, to experience surrender, and to taste it, and then to take that, what we've tasted, into all of our life. So if you are familiar with my work for long enough, you know that I keep saying that there's no difference between sexuality and life. How we show up in sexuality is how we show up in life. So in that same way, exploring, experiencing surrender in sexuality is a profound way to understand surrender and to bring it into our life. And in the depth of the feminine, as I wrote in my post, in the depth of the feminine, that's the deepest desire, to surrender completely, to experience yourself being obliterated, to experience yourself beyond yourself, beyond your limited small identity, beyond anything you've ever identified with. It's this experience of yourself as totality of life. And the feminine will never be satisfied until she experiences that, and she will always want more and more and more until she feels herself completely taken by life and expanded through that, and in that she recognizes herself. So why we're not surrendering? Many of you ask me, what are the steps? What is a step-by-step way to get there? Yeah, okay, the concept is amazing. Okay, I love it. Okay, let's go there. But how? So let's look. First of all, you need to understand what is holding you back. Because for most people, there exists this lack of ability to self-reflect. Yeah, lack of ability to really sit with yourself and go like, okay, what is my responsibility? Why am I creating this life for myself? For many people, it's like, okay, this is because there's no right person. Yeah, I don't have a right partner. That's why I don't surrender. Because life is not good enough. Yeah, because I'm not in the right place where I want to be. That's why I don't surrender. But all this is a victim. Yeah, it's an attitude of a victim towards life, meaning that somehow life is doing it to you. I invite you to reframe that and to go like, okay, why am I creating this? I am the creator of my reality. I am the creatress of my reality. Why am I creating this? What am I doing? Yeah, what is happening there? And many of you, those of you who wrote to me, I know you have this awareness, and I am so moved to see this, to see people really going like, okay, it hurts actually to look inside sometimes, because then you start to understand, oh my God, yeah, here I behaved kind of out of integrity. Yeah, okay, here I behaved from my trauma, not from presence. Okay, here I really hurt some people. It's not easy, but it's so beautiful. This is freedom. This is a step to freedom, to be able to look inside, with that vulnerability, and to sit in all the fire that comes with it, because it is fire. Yeah, when you really acknowledge your own responsibility, when you take responsibility for your life, you invoke a lot of fire, and this fire will burn. But what it will burn is that which is not true. Fire never burns that which is true. Fire is cleansing us, purifying us. It's beautiful to invite fire. So, what is holding you back then? First of all, it can be shame, insecurities, poor body image. This is a very strong one. Yeah, the person, especially for women, is so common that she's so focused on how she looks, how she does not measure up to her standard of beauty. informed by the media and by all the nonsense that we pick up on from being a little child. So she will compare herself. She will not like her body. She will not like how she looks, just how she is in this body, incarnate into this body. And this may create a lot of contraction. So she's constantly thinking, oh my God, how am I looking? Oh my God, I'm with this person. Oh, those people are gonna see me. How am I looking? I'm with my partner. Oh my God, let's switch off the light when we're making love. Like, I don't want to be seen. So this, of course, will occupy a lot of mental space, and they will create a lot of contraction, and it's just really hard to open through that. Another thing is you may experience patterns. And also someone wrote to me, she said, I have this pattern that men keep leaving me. Like, I meet this person, everything looks good, but then sooner or later he goes. Maybe he goes to another woman or something happens there. Normally this is an invitation to look deeper. If something like this recurring is happening in your life, it very likely it is connected to some childhood story. The childhood trauma. Where was your father? How present was your father, or the person who was really that masculine figure in your life? So this is something can be, some people even know, okay, my father left me and I keep being scared that again the man will leave. How can I open if I'm always scared that he will leave me? Like, no, it's not possible. If you're constantly in that checking, like internally, like, checking what is happening, is he staying, is he leaving, where is he looking, what is he saying? Of course, it's unsafe. This place doesn't feel safe inside. You should not open from that place, actually, because the only thing that will happen if you open from the place of not fully trusting, not fully feeling safe, what will happen is you will create this peak experience of like, wow, exposure. Like, okay, maybe one day you're like, okay, let's just do it. Let's just open. Let's just trust and jump in. And then you jump, and then yes, you have this maybe amazing big experience, but then very frequently the next day you will feel shattered, and you will feel like, oh my God, what's gonna happen now? You might feel like just kind of uncomfortable in your own skin, and nervous, and actually feeling super sad and depressed out of the blue seemingly. So all this can happen when you try to open by force. It's like you pushing yourself to open. Open is a natural thing. When flowers are kissed by sunlight, they cannot help it. They open. It's the most natural thing to do. But of course, if we are used to closing, and existing in this kind of contracted state, then the first kisses of sunlight may also be uncomfortable. So there can be discomfort when we choose opening. Other women said that I feel that I'm going to be abused or taken advantage of. How can I open from that place? So often it will manifest through control. So you will go like, okay, for some reason, like all those reasons that I just mentioned, they're somewhere there in the back of your mind, and then you start to control. You start to micromanage people around you. You start to micromanage your partner. You start to be nagging. You start to say, like judging, criticizing. Oh, this was not right. Or you're not man enough. You're not powerful enough. You're not present enough. All this stuff. This is, if it's a recurring thing, it means that there's something underneath. Look underneath. What is underneath? All those little judgments, criticism, and all this. Look underneath. Underneath there is fear. Always. There will be always fear. Mistrust. So why are you so scared? What really happened there? And there might be a lot of grief. And there might be a lot of anger. And there might be other emotions that are really uncomfortable for you. But this is how the process goes. Like, to understand what is holding you back from surrendering, you need to look, what is really there, confront it. And always underneath that, there will be some trauma. There will be a traumatic event that impacted you, that made you think that it's not safe to open. maybe someone left, maybe the father left, maybe a betrayal happened, maybe some incredible pain happened to you. So welcome to all of you who are joining. Thank you for being here. So there is a trauma that we all actually have trauma. It's actually pretty much not possible to grow up as a human being and not to experience any trauma, especially in childhood. And this trauma needs to be addressed, because if we're not addressing trauma, then most frequently we just try to kind of avoid that trauma and try to create life like we want, but without really addressing what's at the core of our pain. Life will keep presenting us opportunities to heal that pain, and opportunities to heal that pain is when you are really confronted, when that same pain is being triggered inside of you. This is an opportunity to heal. So basically, what's holding you back from surrender is that you don't feel safe. And how to feel safe? That's what I'm going into next. To feel safe, the only thing that makes us feel safe is strong inner masculine. It's that strong inner core that never, ever, ever goes away. So that's a part of us that is there in the eye of the storm. There's a tornado, there's wild emotions, there's insecurities, there's body image, there's this, there's patterns, there's traumas, there's all this. There's still a part inside of you, inside each and every one of you, inside each and every person that is not shaken. And this is very deep. Yeah, I hope we are on the same page. I hope it makes sense. But this is a place of stillness inside. This is another word of the masculine. The true essence of the masculine is that. Yeah, sometimes, of course, these terms are confusing, the masculine, feminine, what it is. But in the essence of the masculine is that stillness. That still point, that eye of the tornado that is not shaken by the tornado. And this, from this place, you move. You know with clarity what creates safety, what creates a container. And this is something, because also some people ask, how do I practice it in daily life? How do I practice surrender without a partner? Well, exactly that. That it becomes your commitment to yourself. That from your masculine, you keep creating safety for your feminine. So the masculine is that container. The feminine is everything else, is our vulnerability, is our tenderness, is our opening. All of this is the feminine. Yeah, so we need to create a safe space for that feminine to really blossom into that incredibly beautiful flower that she really is. There's nothing greater that we can offer to this world than surrender, than to really blossom in the full radiance of who we are as women. This is just such a gift. It's a nectar. It's a nectar of love that is oozing through a woman who really surrenders, who really chooses that path of love, which surrender is about. To develop the inner masculine in a woman, it's a very simple thing. Someone is asking a simple step to develop. It's a very simple thing. It's about creating structure. Yeah? The masculine will create a certain structure in which the feminine will feel safe. So, for example, what can be a structure? A structure can be just, through your day. How do you structure your day? Is your day just kind of chaos, like you just see what happens, you wake up and then you get on your phone and then next thing happens and then this happens and then you didn't really have a moment to really be with yourself, to really feel yourself. Yeah. Then from your inner masculine, you have to create that structure. And it's very simple, it's very practical, and this goes a long, long way. Because when you train yourself that, okay, I got myself, I take care of myself, your nervous system starts to go more into the parasympathetic nervous system. Yeah, you start to be more at ease, more relaxed in yourself, in your life, in your day-to-day life. So creating that structure to know, like, okay, for example, a great structure is to wake up maybe a bit earlier than you usually used to, and create a container for practice, for a feminine practice. So it's your masculine who creates that container, and you go like, okay, I take 2 hours for just uninterrupted time, without any phones, without any internet, just to nurture my feminine. Yeah, this is a gesture of the masculine. Maybe not 2 hours, yeah? Maybe you only have half an hour, maybe you only have 15 minutes. Do as long as it takes, but know how long do you need to nurture yourself. Yeah, and that is a gesture of your masculine. Yeah, your masculine is the one who tunes in into what needs to happen so that you develop that sense of safety. And that sense of safety is so important. It's such a fundamental thing for all of us. It's incredible how unsafe we actually naturally feel in this world. Those feelings of unsafety may show up in how you feel around other people, how you feel on this planet, how confident you feel in yourself, how held you feel, how much trust you have in life. If you don't have much trust in life, it means that you did not develop that fundamental safety. And since so many of us are so deeply traumatized without any awareness of that, without this like nurturing, without creating that safety, we're just not really accessing the totality of our life. And most people are completely oblivious to this. They're like, okay, I just live a normal life, a cool life. But there's so much more. You didn't come here for a normal life. You didn't come here for a mediocre life. You came here to thrive. You came here to really blast this world with your light. This is the real destiny, the high destiny of any human being, to really expose yourself in totality and shine the light that you are. So that's where we're getting with this kind of practice. So inner masculine, yeah, that's the next piece to that. To when your inner masculine matures and develops, and you keep developing your inner masculine. So what are other things that can help develop inner masculine is meditation. Yeah, it's the best masculine practice, where you sit still for a certain amount of time and you really feel your center and get really, really present. Dropping everything, dropping all thoughts, dropping plans, dropping ideas about future, memories from the past. You just sit in presence. This is the masculine. And this is like, the stronger you're in the masculine, the more he matures, the more he will be able to hold you, to hold the feminine that needs so much safety. That part of you develops, and it starts to really protect yourself. And then guess what happens? Then you can lean back, and then you can exhale, and then you can feel so held, and then you can trust. And notice that I didn't even mention any other person yet. Because some people ask me, what can a partner do to help, to create more surrender? Yeah, we were getting there. Just hang on with me. We are getting to that also, because as I said in the beginning of the video, it's profound to practice in intimacy, to practice in partnership. It's a profound avenue for practice, profound avenue for real deep spiritual opening. But for now, I haven't even mentioned another person, because it's really that inner attitude and that inner union that has to be developed first. That you need to really feel held, and whether you have a partner or not, that's just something we constantly have to be developing. If we haven't developed that, then we're always going to be ending up in codependent type of relationships. I wonder if you know about. Thanks for those encouragements. I wonder if you know about the codependent relationships. There are some great books to learn about this, but many people end up in those codependent relationships where, for you, in order to feel loved, you need your partner to behave in a specific way. And if they don't, then you don't feel loved, and then all this thing happens. And then you're only happy when you are totally fine and they're giving you what your parents really didn't give. So anyway, it's a big subject. If you haven't studied this, please do get a book called Attached, for example, or another book called Whole Again, and a lot will be revealed to you through that. So this inner union, this healthy inner masculine, empowered inner feminine, when they come together, then we say goodbye to codependency, and we really come to wholeness inside, and then we are attracting that same kind of wholeness on the outside. So whether if you are currently in a relationship or if you want to attract a relationship, by the way, I have an online course coming about that. I'm so excited. I haven't yet started recording it, but you will know about that also in the coming months. So yeah, and then we can create that sacred union, and sacred union is not possible without internal wholeness. So next point is about the feminine. Yeah, how to really give space to the feminine, because this is also, again, you asked me how to practice on daily basis. This is very important. Yeah, you practice on daily basis, and then surrender becomes your second nature, actually. Then you respond to life with surrender. But how to connect with the feminine, because it's also an important point for many women, because we live in an incredibly masculinized world where the masculine way became the right way, and it's a very important way, but it's not the only way. Yeah, the masculine has to be balanced with the feminine, and so your feminine needs to feel held in love. Yeah, she needs to feel loved. If she doesn't feel loved and if she doesn't feel appreciated, she dries out. Dries off and contracts, and she just stops blessing us. She just stops giving us those gifts that we all want so much. So nurturing the feminine is each and everyone's responsibility, in ourselves and in the world also. Yeah? The feminine is what? The feminine is life. The feminine is how alive we feel on the inside. And also, just like life means nature, connecting with nature, honoring life, honoring water, honoring the earth, honoring all the elements. This is also a way of worshipping the feminine, of loving the feminine, of nurturing, of protecting the feminine. Yeah, also the animals, the wildlife, all of this is the feminine. And our inner feminine, she is that same precious part of us as all life is. So creating, again, coming back to the masculine that created that container for your feminine, that goes like, okay, every single day we'll have this time for nurturing. Yeah, this is very important, just nurturing, whatever it may be for you. Yeah, again, as I said, maybe this half an hour or 2 hour dedicated practice where you what you do during that practice, you dance, you move in specifically those non-linear ways. It's not like yoga poses that, okay, you do this kind of pose and this kind of pose and you have this routine every day. This is great, but that's not the feminine way. Yeah, it's not the way to activate the feminine. So all those linear ways, they have to be complemented by the feminine ways. So you dedicate, like I wrote also in another post, you create this designated time every day where you have this time where you, for 15 minutes, you just stop everything, you put on music and you move your hips. Just that, yeah? For example. Or you take a bath, yeah? Or you give yourself a massage, or you go for a massage. And create that environment of nurturing that it's throughout your whole day. You have something that is nurturing you. Also your space, make a nice space that is nurturing space for you to be in. And yeah, those dance breaks, this is something that's super nurturing for the feminine. It's really a really good way for every woman to drop into the body, to understand your body, to experience your body. And there are many, many other practices. I've created online courses because I love sharing those practices. And in my trainings, of course, we go very deep into those kind of practices with women. And in the meantime, while men are focusing on the masculine practices, especially in the Sacred Man, Sacred Woman training that I have coming up in July in Spain, we're going to be focusing specifically on that. We'll have 2 separate groups, men and women. Men will be doing full-on masculine work. Women will be doing full-on feminine work. Oh my God, I can't wait. And then we will be uniting, and it's going to be magic. So, as you hold your feminine in love, she starts blossoming. She starts to heal. She starts to heal all those wounds, all those fears of not trusting. She starts to, most importantly, she starts to enter into her heart. She starts to discover her heart, and she starts to live from the heart. And that's really that gift of the feminine. It's the gift of the heart. And the heart has no doubts. The heart has no worries. The heart has no fears. The heart has no traumas. The heart in its nature is open. And surrender, another word for surrender, is this total opening. And opening is all that the heart really wants. And opening no matter what. Yeah, this can be another profound practice that you can practice in day-to-day reality, where something happens in your life, you, instead of habitually closing, you choose to open. And continuously opening, you're dropping into the universal heart. That's the best way I can describe it. Yeah? You keep dropping into the universe, into the heart of the universe. And let's say something difficult happens in your life. Let's say someone triggers you. Oh my God. Of course, there will be someone who triggered you. How do you react to that? Do you close on the inside and you start to become aggressive on the inside and harsh and cold on the inside, and you try to push this person away and maybe tell them off and respond somehow from this harshness? You know when you respond from harshness. You know this very well, this internal experience of responding to life from cold and harsh place inside of you. It hurts, it hurts on the inside. You're hurting yourself each time you're doing this. And if you want to shift that paradigm and enter into the paradigm of surrender, is there such paradigm? We can create one. You reframe that. You see that, okay, something happens, something even it feels like penetrates my space. Yeah, something really unpleasant comes into my space. How do I respond? Can I not just impulsively respond to this and push back to protect myself? Something is entering towards you, and you can you not do this? Can you not push back to protect yourself? But can you feel that, hey, wait a second, even if there is maybe an attack coming your way, is it really affecting your safety? Yeah, you can check this with yourself. Is it really impacting how safe I am in my own skin? Well, maybe no. Yeah, if I'm really holding myself from my own masculine, and I'm really that held and that continual embrace of my own spirit, then, well, all those things coming in, they're not such a big deal. And then what I can do is I can open, and open doesn't mean hey, yeah, welcome, come on, attack me, whatever. No. It means that, wow, you can feel. If it hurts, you can feel that it hurts. And actually, I find that we spend so much time suppressing and repressing and trying to sweep things under the carpet and just not address uncomfortable stuff. So if we choose to live from a place of surrender, you will actually feel more. than you usually do. Yeah? And then something is coming your way, and then wow, if it hurts, you feel the pain. But guess what? You don't have to close when there is pain. When there is pain, it's okay to feel pain. Pain doesn't equal suffering. Suffering is actually when we feel that pain and we contract as response to it and we try to get away of that pain, that creates suffering. But if something comes at you, even if something really unpleasant, and you don't contract and push back, but you just stay with it, stay with your experience and feel, if there's pain, feel the pain. If there's anger, feel the anger. If there's grief, feel the grief. And it's easier said than done, and I'm not saying this lightly. It's something that we all have to practice over and over again. That's why containers are so beautiful for that. That's what I'm creating in my trainings, those containers in which we can feel held and safe to really go into those, at times, really dark and scary places. But that's where we discover our wholeness, and that's where we learn this profound gift of opening. So, once again, something happens to you, someone is reaching out and somehow saying something to you that is really uncomfortable. Next time this happens, try to take a breath. Maybe place your hands somewhere on your body where you feel it's hitting you, maybe on your heart, maybe on your belly. Let's say maybe it's on the heart, yeah? You take a breath and you feel what is actually being stirred up in you. Maybe it's reminding you of how you were treated as a child. Maybe it's reminding you of something incredibly difficult. Yeah? Maybe it's something that you really... just something that really, really hurts you. So you can just be with it. And feel those emotions. Now, sometimes it will be hard to name those emotions. It's okay, you don't need to name them. But then eventually you will also learn to name them and go into your process. In this process, that's what also you can bring into your practice. Into those designated practice spaces, you can bring your emotions, and I actually highly encourage to do that. Bring those emotions and feel them in your body, not just in your mind. Like, oh, they do this, they're doing this all the time. Again, you're doing this always, you're doing this. All those words, actually, they are nothing but indicators that it's a childhood story that is being triggered. Always, you're always doing this, you're never doing this. All of this is just childhood speaking. Is your inner child talking to your parent or your caregiver. So, but feeling the pain in the body is a profound way to integrate the pain and to process and to open regardless, and to choose opening as our path, to choose opening as a way to respond to life. And maybe one day you will get to this blessed day when you just live like this, you just live your life like this, opening as the only response to life. This is a profound way of living life. And again, I'm not saying that it's easy, and most people are thinking that they're doing it, where in fact just still reacting and getting trapped in the old reactions and patterns. But this is a profound practice to keep choosing opening. And even when you close, then you open afterwards, and you open to yourself. And then if it's happening with another person, if another person is involved and you want to deepen into your relationship actually with that person, then you can bring it to them. Then you can express non-violently how their behavior makes you feel. Not you're always doing this, you're doing this on purpose, you're doing it to hurt me, you're hurting me like this. This is blame and accusation. But instead you can say, wow, what you just said, it really hurts. And you can cry and you can be emotional, but just being with your own emotion and letting yourself be witnessed in that, rather than making the other person guilty, blaming them, making them responsible for how you feel. Another thing is, how are you opening to pleasure? Are you really allowing yourself to fully open to pleasure, to let go into pleasure? This is also scary. This is terrifying for most people, to really open to pleasure. How much pleasure can you take? Sooner or later, there will be this inner saboteur that comes and goes like, no, it's enough. That's good, thank you, bye-bye. Oh yeah, we have to do something. Oh, how's laundry? Oh, what time is it? All of this is this inner saboteur who is terrified of opening, who is terrified of surrender, because it knows that when it surrenders, it discovers itself. You find yourself through surrender. So many people are scared of losing themselves, and I spoke about it in the beginning of the video, that surrender is not about getting lost in a situation or in another person. Surrender is this way of opening to love as love. And this takes us to the next point I want to speak about, and this point is trust. So, trust, surrender is not possible without trust. As I said, if you don't have trust, it means you feel unsafe, and if you try to surrender through that, you're not doing a service to anybody. To cultivate trust, it's an art, and it's a lifetime practice. And normally we think trust is about, okay, I give you my trust, like you're a good person, I trust you, I give you my trust, and then it means that I trust you not to hurt me. I trust you, I open myself to you in my vulnerability, and then I trust you that you're gonna treat me well. And this is one way, this is how most people understand trust. I want to invite you to another type of trust, and this is getting quite esoteric, we can say, but I believe that that's real trust, and that's a really big way to live your life. This trust is about trusting the divine, trusting your spirit, trusting the universe, whatever you may call it, whatever is at highest to you, you trust that. And you keep cultivating that trust. And as you really dropping into that profound trust, then you know that whatever happens in your life, it is somehow needed. Yeah, somehow your spirit called for that. Even if it's very painful, even if someone really offended you, if it happens in your life, if you really have trust in your heart, then you will always see it as, this is, my soul wanted to experience this. This is why this is happening. And this is big. This is really big. Not many people live like that. Normally the pain is so strong, the trauma is so deep inside, so we cannot stand to be with our own inner experience. We cannot stand to even assume that somehow it might be what we asked for. The pain is so strong, so we start to find someone who did something wrong to us. We say that this person did wrong to me, my parents did wrong to me because they raised me in a wrong way. This is because this person is not responsible, and I cannot trust them. Like, we keep blaming it on the outside, but if trust is there, this big trust with a capital T, then you know that you came here to experience life, and human life is complex and it's full of incredible opportunities, incredible events, incredible things that we can call mistakes, but nothing is ever a mistake if we learn to really see it in depth. And then we see that every mistake is an opportunity to grow and understand ourselves better and understand life better and become a bigger, better human being. So, this is what really it is about. Surrender is only possible when there is this really deep trust, and then you just you can lean back and you can let go and you can forget about your safety nets and fire exits, and you just offer yourself in the spontaneity of your heart. You offer yourself to this present moment, and you that's how you surrender. You get attuned to the flavor of the moment and you meet it from your heart. And that's what surrender really is. So then the final point I wanted to make here is about the partner. So how do we practice it with the partner, and what the partner can do to help us surrender more? And I did receive those kind of questions from you. I was quite touched. I'm always very touched when partners really want to support each other, when really we want to be a team together, and you understand that if you really create a space for your partner to truly open, it will be an amazing experience for both of you, for your partner who is opening and blossoming and experiencing herself beyond herself, and it also will be an amazing experience to you because you will get to witness it, and also through the portal of that openness you also experience yourself beyond yourself. And it's also a gift to the whole world, because the world is desperately longing for those open, surrendered, expanded people. This is a medicine, this is a nectar that we are all so thirsty for. So, with a partner, also some of you asked about healing. Yeah, can we heal? How can we heal like this relationship to bring more? How can we bring more safety? And yeah, it is possible to heal. I've seen this amazing things happening. Sometimes people also want to attract this perfect partner, and because they say, oh, my current partner is not perfect, I want to attract a perfect partner. But in truth, there's no perfect partners. And you cannot attract, actually, whenever you attract someone, it's very likely that you attracted each other because of your wounds. You attracted each other to heal something. Yeah? But then when you stay together, then you become perfect partners. If you want, yeah? If both partners want that, then you cultivate that sacred union, and then you cultivate love. Yeah? Also, love is not actually what also usually attracts us to each other. It's not because of love we come together. We come together because of certain there are physiological reasons for that, there are various reasons for that, but love is something that's being created. We are creating love, we are deepening in love. Originally there may be attraction, there's something that's attractive, and somehow you attract each other for various reasons. One of them is healing, you attract each other to heal. But love is something that is being developed, and thank you for wanting that. Thank you for wanting that in your relationship, and to support each other, to be this agent. In my Limitless Love online course, I speak about this. You become the agent of each other's transformation. That's why you come together. So, what can you do as a partner? First of all, you need to create safety. In a relationship without safety, not much is possible. No relationship is possible without safety. So you need to find what gives you safety. Each of you, for both partners. What gives each of you safety? Now, specifically, if we're speaking about feminine surrender in a, let's say it's a heterosexual relationship, because it's not limited to heterosexual relationships, but they are so complex already, so I will just stick with those, but you can translate it in your mind how it best fits you. So let's say it's a heterosexual couple, and the woman wants to really go into her full spectrum of her femininity. And then what the masculine partner can do is to really embody that full masculine. And then he becomes that masculine, so strong. So even if she were to completely lose her own masculine, his masculine will be there for him and for her also. This is incredible practice. This is very deep practice, and not many are ready for that, because first of all you need to develop your own inner pillar. Yeah, then you can be a pillar for somebody else. But it's amazing what happens through that. Yeah, the potential of this kind of experience is glorious. So you create safety, yeah, and then you tune in, yeah, you assess what will create safety for your relationship, yeah, and then the woman will be sharing, yeah, she will be saying, I need to have safety, I need to know that what time do we meet, yeah, if you don't live together, or what time do we create specifically space for our intimacy, yeah, and then you say, okay, on this day, maybe every day at 5 p.m. we're gonna meet and we're gonna have uninterrupted time together, and this is what we're gonna do, and you make those structures, and this is one example I'm giving you, but it's an important one, yeah, and it's always the masculine who creates structure. So if you are in a relationship and you are a man who wants to be strong in your masculine, then it's your responsibility to create those kind of structures. So you decide where you go, what you do, and you inform her, and you stay true to your word. Yeah, this point. Do what you say you will. Oh my god, people, this is just, it's like an epidemic, I think. Epidemic. We live in an epidemic where people just don't do what they say they will do. And this just creates this generation of completely unreliable people. And I see it everywhere, and I really don't want to have those kind of people in my life, actually. And this is a strong boundary that I have in my life, that if I see that people are not reliable, and it's not just like, okay, sometimes, okay, something happens, but when there's a repetitive unreliability, when I'm relying on a person for something and they don't inform me that they cannot provide something that we agreed on, then I actually distance myself from such people. I am quite fierce in that, and it created important, beautiful things in my life since I started doing that. So people, please do what you say you will. This is such an important practice for healthy, mature masculine. And we are lacking. We have a lot of masculine in our world, in how we behave and how our value systems are developed. There's a lot of masculine, but not a lot of healthy masculine, and not a lot of mature masculine. And this is a very big, important point for the mature masculine. Do what you say you will. This is how you come into integrity with yourself. You know, it's not even so much. And it's not only about people around you and to respect others and to hold others in safety, but it's really about you. It's about your integrity. Your integrity is about being true to yourself and doing what you say you will. If you cannot do what you say you will, you inform people, and you also say no, and frequently. This is also an important one. And I'm totally giving you a pass for saying no and honoring your boundaries. This is just basic stuff, really. Like this has to be firmly established inside of us, because when we own our boundaries, we liberate people around us. They don't sit there waiting and lingering and thinking, oh, maybe this will happen, maybe they will call me, maybe not. No, it is clear. Well, boom, you create clarity in your life. And this is also how you develop safety, yeah, and you develop safety in your own life, and you develop safety around you, and you creating a better world, really. Okay, so yes, the life will be saved. I think I have just 5 minutes before it will be stopped, but if you have any questions, I'm very open to receive them right now. I also have some things from before I can look at, but I did give you quite a broad presentation on Saran. Of course, there's a lot more to say. I also have a chapter on it in my book, Liberation into Orgasm, which I'm revising currently, and the updated version will be available in a few days. So I have a whole chapter on surrender there. It's also something that we will definitely work with in all my trainings this year. I have 5 trainings scheduled. So welcome, really welcome to come join me and my beautiful team and all the beautiful people who come to these trainings. For sure there we will be diving very deeply into surrender, both in all of them actually, because I have a training called Liberation to Orgasm, where without surrender you cannot also fully orgasm, and also the training Sacred Man, Sacred Woman, and they're also do a very deep work on surrender. So just to wrap it up, I did give you a whole presentation on what is surrender, what surrender is not, what is holding you back from surrender, how to work with it, developing the masculine, developing the feminine, and understanding trust, and also how it can work in partnership. So let me see, I am receiving some questions. Someone is asking, how can undress safety with your partner? What do you mean, darling? Please send this question again. I don't understand. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for loving the session. Are all relationships based on healing? That's how most relationships, really majority of relationships start. We are attracted to each other by something that we cannot even say, there's a mystical reason for that attraction, there's a very physiological reason, which is the smell. You attract each other, but there's also psychological reason, because very often your partner reminds you for some reason, in some way, of your caregivers as you were growing up. So then, work begins. And for sure, in all relationships, there will be an element of healing. But then we also mature in the relationship, and the relationship can become a dharmic kind of relationship. I did write about the difference between karmic and dharmic relationships. Have a look. You can check on my website also. Blogs about those subjects. Tips for women working on creating greater safety within herself. Yes, I spoke about this. Welcome to watch the replay. I always return back to previous patterns and surrender only when the situation is in the worst condition, not in the first. So I think there's a misunderstanding, if I'm understanding your message correctly, but you say that surrender, I'm not saying that surrender in the sense that completing something. I'm not talking about like how to finish something and kind of wrap it up, but I'm speaking about surrender as a way to respond to life with opening. So there's perhaps a misunderstanding in that. Okay, I have very little time. Thank you. People asking about healing process in the relationships. This is a very interesting topic to speak about. I can make another live on that. Just send me more questions on that, about healing and relationships. We can speak about it for sure. So I'm seeing more questions, but I have a feeling that I actually answered them as I was speaking. So please have a look. It's a very rich video. I did address a lot of different things. Oh, my love. Thank you. Okay, so it was a pleasure to be with you. Please stay connected. I hope to see you this year. Much love to everybody.